Howdy! In this video, I will talk about autonomous AI agents and the first ones that you can actually test right now. Second, how to deal with AI overwhelming. So if the current development, like the speed, the number of developments, the intensity, etc., is too much for you to handle, how to deal with it, how I deal with it, and how the CEO from DeepMind, one of the leading AI companies, deals with it. And last but not least, one of the best business cases where to validate a business idea, already make money with it, but then unfortunately completely fail at the end. But it's one of the best cases I've ever seen combined with AI. We talk about these three things. So let's start in. So, howdy. I try. First off, I experiment with this format a bit. My focus is, or my aim with this format is to only highlight the AI news that are relevant in 3 to 5 years, as far as I can tell. So there is a lot of buzz going on, but what are the developments that are relevant in at least 3 to 5 years? So maybe basic stuff, maybe new papers, whatever, mindsets, strategies, etc. So first in this group is, and it will be for at least the whole year of 2024, are autonomous agents. So first one is the Arc browser. Show you the video right here, which is exactly, or aims to be exactly what stands here, like the browser that browses for you. So they basically combined a search engine, a browser, and a few other like machine learning and a few other like design and software elements to create a browser that gives you exactly what you search, already pre-digested, basically. It's not the first one, like every answer machine, not a search engine, but an answer engine, kinda makes this. So Perplexity would be the best tool to refer to it, I guess. But Arc goes one step further. And again, this is not the end by no stretch of the imagination. It just shows the development from we have software that only can react to us to interact with us. So we've seen this with plugins for GPT, for example. Like you give this a task, and it dissects the task. And for example, if you use Wolfram as a GPT or back in the day as a plugin, so you give him a task, GPT dissects the tasks, gives the part, like the mathematical part, to Wolfram Alpha. Uh, Wolfram does the math. GPT gives you the end result. So we see more and more like tiny steps from reactive software, like the classical data-driven software that we had, like Excel and email, etc., to LLMs, like generative AI, so or code generative. It code generates something with you, to more and more autonomous or co-autonomous AI. And this, like the Arc browser, is a good example, at least to get a feeling. Maybe you even have a way better experience and change your way of searching, interacting with the web, would be cool as well. I'm, yeah, I don't say something for or against this tool per se in the sense of the tool. It's just it's one data point. So we're coming from classical software to generative AI to interactive AI more and more. So Arc browser would be one. Adept is another, the company in this case. They try to create a completely new way, as they say, to use computers, etc., etc. There are already dozens of examples of that. It's just I like to highlight from time to time some of these examples to just again give this road from reactive software to generative software to interactive to executable or execution software. So basically, you give the task like to an assistant, and the software does everything else. We're getting closer and closer to this. It is just one stepping stone, which I thought would be interesting to highlight. So, at least in retrospect, we can say, okay, that was the road exactly. I agree that autonomous agents are the biggest trend, or one of the biggest, like top 3 at least, trends in AI in the year 2024. So I am sure we'll see lots more stuff like this. So, which brings me to the second part of this little video, which is a podcast with Demis Hassabis. Demis Hassabis is the CEO of DeepMind. DeepMind is one of the, in my mind at least, top 2 AI companies in the world, like OpenAI and DeepMind. Sure, there are a lot of other ones, and with Claude 3, which also released this week from Anthropic, we have another not a great company, I would say. Yeah, I mean, there are ex-OpenAI people, etc., etc. But for me, at least, it is very binary. Like we have OpenAI and we have DeepMind. Like 80-20. Sure, we have a lot more, but these are mainly the 2. And in this podcast, at 2 to 3, in 2 to 3 parts, if I remember correctly, Demis Hassabis says how he deals with, with the timelines. Like there was this question, are you surprised by, for example, Sora? He says, no, not really, actually, because I had a very good model in my mind, and this is just the example of it. And this is the exact right, not right, but the exact path I'm dealing with it as well. Because I basically extrapolate exponential trends in my head. Like, for example, you have X amount of computing right now, and you know that in the last 10, 20 years, every year you doubled the amount of computing you had available for the same price. If you extrapolate this into next year, then you know, okay, for the last 10 years, we got more computing every year, so it is reasonable to assume that next year we will have more as well for roughly the same price. What can we do then? And it's just like you need way more computing power for a computer, for example, than for a calculator. So you basically can say, okay, if I know roughly what we will get on the hardware side, we have similar trends with data, with amounts of data, with papers, etc., etc. If you just basically extrapolate these trends, you at least have a very good, like a data-based feeling, quote unquote. So you basically can see the shadows of all these developments, like Sora, like Midjourney, like ChatGPT, etc., at least roughly. So you're not really, you are surprised, of course, but you are not completely got kicked out of your seat, basically. Like for a lot of people right now, they are completely overwhelmed. It's like, how on earth? It's for them. It's like, okay, nothing happened basically. Like, okay, we got the internet, we got the computer. Okay, great, but that's basically it. And then for them at least, nowhere we had these machines that can interact with us. That you can read now, quote unquote, steal jobs or destroy jobs or let new jobs not even get created, etc., etc. And for them, it feels like this is completely new. It's complete out of the blue. There were no signs of that. And this is wrong. This is completely wrong. It's way earlier than even these extrapolations said. But again, if you have a reasonable good model, and I think it's of high quality if you use first principle thinking. So what does that mean? You go very, very foundational about it. Like you think, how do we get this hardware? Like, are there any like basic borders? So you can't make a chip infinitely small, for example. You can get reasonable small, but that would be a logical end at some point. So basically the end of Moore's law. But we have alternatives. So even if that happens, or when it happens at some point, we have alternatives. So that doesn't seem like an endpoint. Data, same. People will not suddenly stop using the internet, for example, etc., etc. So you have very, very grounded basic assumptions. And then based on these assumptions, you can create your own predictions, basically. Like, okay, if I know amount of data doubles every whatever, amount of available hardware doubles every whatever, etc., etc. If you have these very, very as close as possible to ground truth assumptions, then you can extrapolate them. And this makes for a very, I don't know how to say it, stable, relaxed, I don't know, life basically, because you are in the middle of this extreme tornado basically of AI. Like every day we have 100 tools and hundreds of developments and new startups, etc. It's nuts. But if you have these assumptions, you're the calm inside of the storm, basically. So I really can recommend this podcast. I don't know, I don't remember how deeply he talks about it, but that at least was a very good point. And as I get asked this question a lot as well, I just thought, okay, why not take this as a data point and give my own perspective of it and give a bit of explanation. Good. Which brings me to the last one, to one of the best business case studies I have seen with AI and around AI, which unfortunately ended in a not in a tragedy, but in the worst possible business outcome that I've ever seen. So the idea was great, the execution was similarly bad, which is interesting. You have to actually do this. I don't know where that this is possible. So basically, what was happening? It was a company that generated images like this one with AI, with probably Midjourney or DALL-E or whatever, and then took it on a web page and sold tickets for it, like the ultimate Willy Wonka experience. And people see, okay, this looks awesome, and this is awesome for childs, etc., and they sold tickets, and it was great for a few days, if I recall correctly. This was one of the hottest things, at least in this space, like in child paradise options. I don't know how to say this. I hope you get what I mean. So they validated an idea. They had nothing of it. They had no if I recall correctly, they had no space, they had nothing, just an idea, created images with it, created a website with it, and then put traffic on it. Like, for example, with ads, or you share it in your network, or you go to events where parents are, etc. And then you validate your idea. So basically, you make money with an idea and you get feedback. So people buy it, people say, yeah, this is great, and we look forward to it, blah, blah, blah. So you get extremely hard feedback to your idea, which is the best business case, because you don't develop stuff just in your corner and then release it when and nobody cares. it's the economical, at least within the internet realm and now AI realm, best possible process. But then, and here comes the problem, this was the actual experience. It was basically an empty hall with holes in the windows, etc. They were just, I mean, you see it. It was that terrible that parents called the cops. So the first half was extremely awesome. It's like this meme, they got us at the first half, not gonna lie. First half was perfectly executed. Like, you validated an idea, you got a lot of people, they even probably shared it. Like the whole experience is with the usage of AI perfectly created. It's absolute masterpiece. Would recommend this for lots of businesses these days. But then, equally intensely, but in the wrong direction, the execution was so bad. So I mean, you see it from this picture where you thought, oh, that looks like a goddamn Wonderland, to whatever the heck this is. And there are videos about it which look even more terrible. So maybe it's good to look deeper into this. I don't know. I just see it from a business perspective. And from there, it's first half awesome, second half, goddamn, what are you doing there? Like, this is the quintessential part. If you are able to execute in the time necessary, so for example, you say you have a post on social media and you market this experience and say, okay, you can go there next week, then you have bold and italic, you have to be able to execute exactly this or something better within the week. If not, you basically just scam people on a scale. So done right, this is one of the best cases you can ever have, because you don't have costs upfront and nothing. You basically have paid market research with already hyped up customers. So boom, it's absolutely crazy. It's picture perfect. But this only works, only works, and you see this as drastically in this example here. This only works if you can execute properly. And if this fails, you are just one of the biggest fail memes in the AI space, as I show you right now. So, bottom line, if you're able to execute, you have now a tool that makes it as easy as never before, by far, by a lot, to get customers, to get already money, etc., etc., even before you have done anything in that direction. Again, if and only if you are able to execute properly. So that was it for this week. These are my 3 highlights that I think, from the mindset, from the trends, from the tools, from the strategies and tactics that you can use, are as relevant in 3 to 5 years as now. Have a nice day. See you. Bye.